Hello folks, Typhoon Carter here, and I bring to you DPP Revival Ubers Open. This is top 8, and I'm going to be covering the losers bracket portion of top 8. And the first of these two losers bracket matchups is going to be between Evuelf and the Strap. Evuelf going by Nikosi6R5. I've covered him before on this channel. The Strap, same deal. If you remember, Evuelf got sent down to losers in a pretty questionable series against Byron, and the Strap got sent down by Stone Cold, also known as Dave. So, exciting matchup. This is like getting deep into this tournament. Both players have a real shot at walking away with some money. Needless to say though, exciting matchup to see this late into the tournament. Let's jump right in. So we got Kyogre Mirror and either player. So Evuelf's gonna pop a Thunder there. That looks like it was Specs. And Latias is gonna be the answer. Got friend of Draco, and Tyranitar is gonna come right in here. Thunder misses though, but Tyranitar will be able to get a Pursuit Trap off perhaps. Draco Meteor's there, only doing 39% and into a payback, so that's an HP invested Tyranitar. Could be running a semi-room team on Evuelf's end, but not always the case. And Groudon's gonna get a sub up here. This Kyogre probably should just click Surf, but no, just gonna go into Mewtwo instead. And going to eat this EQ up pretty comfortably. That looks like a Stall 2. Perhaps Ice Beam, okay. Could friend a Wisp, like based on bulk investment, but not immediately clear. And the Straps' Mewtwo answer is gonna be his own Mewtwo. What's the Mewtwo set? Okay, there is a Will-O-Wisp, and oh, it's a Wisp Mewtwo mirror, but that Mewtwo being Wisp on Straps' end does not indicate Stall 2 right away. Question is, does Evuelf have Taunt on this? But no, does not look to be the case. But this Kyogre will threaten a huge Specs boosted attack regardless. And gotta pop a Water Spout and gotta KO the Blissey right away. Blissey was always getting 2-hit KO there by Water Spout. And Water Spout's going to just take out this Groudon. This Kyogre on lead just going off. Strap saying GG in caps. Yeah, that's... wow, talk about anticlimactic start to this series this deep into the tournament. As per how Strap could overcame this, I mean, you could say that, oh, you should have scouted out the Tyranitar switch, but I think with Kyogre on lead, I don't blame Strap for, like, you know, just clicking Thunder or whatnot, because at that stage in the game, it is way too early, because, like, the Kyogre lead being, like, what looks to be Specs doesn't exactly tell us a whole lot. And then, not to mention, like, that Blissey, the crit doesn't really matter, because, like, that Blissey's always getting 2-hit KO by Water Spout and Rain. And then, like, you know, even if you swapped out Groudon, I mean, I guess you could sack the Groudon and then go Blissey temporarily, get yourself back in good shape. But then, you know, at the end of the day, you're like, this Kyogre's still a huge threat, right? But needless to say, the Strap is on the ropes, and Evuelf is at match point. So we got game 2 here. Here we go. Deoxys attacking the Darkrai. Darkrai could, if this Darkrai is Scarf, then this Deoxys attack is in huge trouble. But huge Dark Void miss, that is Scarf indeed. And now this Deoxys attack up friend at extreme speed. Talking about catching a bad break here, and Fori will at least be able to get spikes up, barring hacks. Okay, T-Spikes will go up at the very least, but has to dodge a Thunder, and Groudon's going to be the answer. Gotta eat up that Thunder, and Psychic going to do a decent amount of damage, and that is a bulky Groudon if I've ever seen one. And yeah, look at Evuelf just trying to play around this Deoxys attack. And this Dialga has taken a huge drop, and oh, nice. But now has to swap out the Dialga again, swapping out there to reset. And oh, he might not. This has to have spikes, right? It might not have spikes. It might be all attacker Deoxys attack, which is okay. That's a mouthful, but it's not a bad set by any stretch of the imagination. that is a sub Dialga. This might be sub bulk up Dialga, like sub protect perhaps, but it doesn't look like it. And the reason if Evuelf had protect there, the reason Evuelf does not swap out or does not click protect there is because you risk the Groudon perhaps setting up a sub, or you know, getting a setup move off. So you want to have something like Latias be able to safely come in, but it's too early to tell. And Grass Knot's there. Yeah, Grass Knot not uncommon on Latias and Ubers because it's a safe way to get damage without Draco drops on Groudon. And nice hidden power fire there, but that means that Latias is always losing his speed tie, but nice explosion absorption there. Couldn't sack the Darkrai because of the fact that Darkrai means that explosion won't go off because it will die to hazards, but no, there's the protect there, pressure kicking it real nicely, and there's the Heatran. So Heatran got threatened a Toxic or a Lava Plume, and there's the Deoxys attack. Probably just got click Flamethrower. Okay, so the reason you see Flamethrower used over Lava Plume on Heatran and Ubers, even though Lava Plume has the burn chance, the big reason is because you want to be able to reliably free it KO Rest Talk Bulk Up Dialga in the sun. So that's the reason why you would see that. Groudon's gonna come in here. Latias gonna pivot back out, can eat a Dragon Claw if the strat predicts that, but looking kind of dire for him. Latios going to be the answer. And nice Dragon Pulse, but that's not gonna kill. That Sodou Spadef boost really coming in handy here, and people often forget just how hard, unkillable the Lati twins can be, especially with Sodou. Although I think part of it is like perception from, you know, later gens when that item's banned. But Flamethrower is going to take out Groudon. This Darkrai's gonna get poisoned. It is Lumberry. Now it will threaten to sleep. But no, just going to Nasty Plot instead. Great play from Evuelf there. Perhaps the Strap was trying to expect a sleep sack and trying to take advantage of that, but not gonna happen. Latios gonna recover here, and there's the Toxic, and now this Latios is on a permanent timer. Protects here. And Thunder in 50% accuracy in the sun, not exactly a great look. And oh, Blands at the very least doesn't get parried. And now just got Protect again, and there's the recover. And Thunder could threaten a KO here. Darkrai's gotta be sacked here, and Thunder gonna do nothing there. And Dialga gonna be able to get a huge protect off, and sub bulk up Dialga, you can really see just how tough it can be to deal with, especially like protect Dialga in general, especially when you factor in pressure and whatnot. Gets the KO on Groudon at the very least, but this Latios is probably gonna see its final days, and Dialga perhaps looking, oh, nice Memento there. Memento, a very underexplored option on Dialga. And the big reason why you would use that is because getting yourself setup opportunities. There's the Protect. You gotta try to stall out this Mewtwo. And probably just gotta look to get a sub again. Crits there doesn't really matter. And gonna be able to get another Protect off. So Evuelf in a pretty comfortable spot has not only Protect Dialga, but also has Protect Heatran too. Don't forget. Subs again. Might not quite get enough HP to get another sub off. But this is where. But even then, tries to get a double Protect, won't get that. And this Mewtwo is more or less out of commission. And I'm not sure, the Strap is also running really low on time too, so that's a huge factor. And then Latias gonna come in here, and Evuelf's gonna use this Latias as a sleep sack from the looks of it, or just try to buy as much time as possible, which fair enough, right? And would probably just sack the Latias here. Latias fast asleep, again, it's just a matter of stalling out for time. You have both Mons remaining on Evuelf's side is protect, so Evuelf will comfortably be able to move on from the looks of it. And you just gotta hold out for a few more turns. Oh, gets a double protect there. Nicely done, and this Darkrai is all but dead, and Evuelf is going to win this series 2-0, and Evuelf will move on. The Strap is going to be eliminated. Thank you for playing, Strap. He had a fantastic run, but Evuelf is going to keep fighting another day. And yeah, so that concludes the first series that's going to be covered in this video. However, we have one more series. Here's our second doubleheader of the day. We got Strange Name and Indulge in Dreams. Strange Name going by Heart Goes Boom. So again, this is the other losers bracket set of top 8, and for Strange Name, he's been going on a pretty strong run, although I think Dave or Stone Cold sent him down to losers. Whereas Indulge in Dreams, I think he got sent down to losers back in like round 4 of this tournament. He's quietly been putting together a nice run for himself to get in the top 8. Both players, again, like a few not too far away from potentially walking away with money, but needless to say though, should be an exciting matchup between two Chinese players, and let's go right into this. And we see a Rayquaza lead into a Tyranitar lead, and Ray going to just get that Draco Meteor off on T-Tar. Don't forget, T-Tar doesn't get that Spadef boost, but has to scout for Custap, but nope, not gonna matter, or has no fear, probably Sash, based on the way it's being played. And oh, Fire Blast into a Spadef Jirachi, or like a Wish Protect Jirachi of sorts. And oh, Grass Knot, you actually, I guess that makes sense because a Grass Knot on Jirachi is for Groudon, because again, Groudon usually threatens it. But U-turns here, okay, T-Wave, G-Knot, U-turn, probably Iron Head last. Groudon's gonna come in, threaten a Fire move perhaps, but Kyogre is going to be the answer on Strange Name's side. Fire Punch is here, we don't know what the Kyogre set is. Could be Scarf, could be Specs. That is Scarf. And Palkia's got Threaten to Thunder, and it misses there because of Airlock. Yeah, that's just a visual thing, so yeah, don't get too freaked out. And Rayquaza's gonna go down, but Strange Name got a revenge with his own Palkia, perhaps trying to show Scarf. Thunder's here. Indulge might probably go to Groudon and try to take advantage of this if this is the case. But no, nice bluff there. It was probably Hobbenberry though, if that's what Strange Name was going for. And yeah, they have some banter in Chinese. I'm not going to read that out. Jirachi into a Bronzong. U-turns here into a Groudon. Groudon's going to threaten this Bronzong out, and then we're going to see Kyogre. Is Indulge going to click EQ? No, does not look to be the case. But this Surf is going to do a bazillion damage. Does not quite kill the Jirachi, but needless to say, Indulge not in a good spot against this Kyogre. And Mewtwo probably got Threaten to Thunder here, perhaps. But no, just going to get crit instead. And Ray is the last on Indulge's end. Rayquaza's got extreme speed here. That does not look like... Oh! Custap's there. So nicely timed. That crit working out in Strange Name's favor. And this Quillfish last is just going to get the explosion off. And Strange Name is going to take this game 1. So yeah, bit of a wild game there. Needless to say. And nicely done by Strange Name to actually mask the Palkia being Scarf, and then Indulge obviously thinking, hey, you know, this Palkia is probably choice locked into Choice Scarf if he won the speed tie. But I think if Indulge won that speed tie, even with the Hobbin, I think that probably would have changed how he approached this game. So that's just something to take into consideration. Like just looking back into this, but needless to say, it is match point for Strange Name. And we got game 2. So game 2, we got Tyranitar into a Kyogre lead. And Tyranitar probably just gonna look to get rocks up, but this Kyogre will threaten to do a lot of damage. We don't know if it's Sash, Lum, Cuss Out, and whatnot. Strange Name not gonna take a risk, going to swap in a Latias. That looks like that could be Specs actually, given Sand, but Thunder misses into Bronzong, which is a bit rough, but Bronzong will get rocks up. And Laddie showing Roost, not unheard of. So it could be Draco, Thunder, Roost, Healing Wish, for example. Might not be a case. Could also be a third attacking move. Bronzong's going to get rocks up, but this Kyogre is going to do a ton of damage to whatever comes in. Water Spout's there. Yep, that is Specs usually. No! Okay, I was clearly full of shit. And a liar, it seems. Or I do not. Or I got my head calcs wrong. Lefty's Water Spout. Okay, yeah, that's actually a pretty cool set. I like that. Because, like, you know, especially if it's like CM too, for that matter. Like, you know, CM free attacks. That's something I could go off. Huge crunch there. That looks, that might not be a CB tar. Or is it? Actually, no, it actually might be a CB tar. And Kyogre's got threatened another huge water spout. Quillfish is going to come in and just going to get KO'd into Oblivion, which is a bit rough. And Latias is parried. So yeah, not really what Strange Name wants to see. At the very crits the Kyogre at the very least, so that immediate threat is gone, but Quillfish is going to do a ton here. And Kyogre is Strange Name's own answer. And Quillfish getting a nice 2-for-1 deal here with the Destiny Bond. And that Kyogre's gonna go down. Palkia's gonna come in into a Bronzong. Bronzong could try to get an explosion off on this Palkia, but let's see what he does here. Trick Room's here, and Indulge going to try to read the explosion and gets the read on the Bronzong. So, but this Tyranitar still going to do a ton with Crunch, has 3 turns to get some mileage out of this T-Tar in Trick Room, but Dialga is the last here. Not too surprising, and that might be sub-protect Dialga. If it is, then Strange Name is in a huge trouble. Bulks up here, doesn't tell us a whole lot just yet. Protects into a Draco. Strange Name needs a crit here if he wants any shot at winning this. But no, that Draco not even gonna do enough. And Strange Name's going to forfeit because this game is pretty much foregone. Because Dialga is just going to like Dragon Claw and get rid of the Giratina, and then what's going to happen is that this T-Tar also kind of gets taken out of commission. So Indulge in Dreams is going to take this game too. So now both players tied at 1-1, and both players risking elimination as we got a rubber match for game 3. Hero of game 3, both players, their backs are against the wall, tournament life on the line. I'm very interested to see what happens here. I see Deoxys Speed in a Kyogre lead, so Indulge has brought Kyogre already. Stealth Rock's here and going to Water Spout. Question is, Deoxys Speed lead doesn't tell us a whole lot. Spikes up here. Water Spouts again, so Water Spout down to 4 PP, and Groudon's going to come in. Doesn't tell us a whole lot just yet. Wobbuffet is shown here. This is probably Wobbuffet if that's what Strange Name has opted to go for. A popular team that we've seen quite a few times in this tournament. And Palkia is going to be the follow-up here. He'll get probably going to nab a KO with Spatial Rend, but Scizor is going to come in here. Is this a Fire Blast? No, does not look like it. And Mewtwo is going to be shown. So, again, this is Life Orb Mewtwo, by the way. And Indulge. Again, Kyogre's out of the picture, so that means Sun is staying up for the rest of the game. Keep that in mind. Giratina going to land his Draco Meteor. What's Strange Name going to do? Strange Name with Groudon. This is most certainly Rock Polish Life Orb Groudon. Rock Polish is here. Question is, how is Indulge going to answer this? Does not even go bother Shallow Sneaking. it might not have it, and Bronzong is shown. If that's the answer, then this series is just about a wrap. And Dialga's gonna come out here, probably gonna get KO'd because again, Rock Polish outspeeds Scarf Dialga if it was that. And Quillfish is the last, so kind of a sad game 3 for Indulge in Dreams to go out on. And nicely played by Strange Name. A couple things to take away from this series. I think for Indulge, the issue here was that he needed to keep Rain active, especially because I think the big thing, especially for him, is that especially because you have Quillfish in the back, it's like you really need to keep that Kyogre up. And then obviously it's hard to say that he could have had Wobbuffet, Deoxys. Groudon doesn't immediately indicate Wobbuffet, right? But like if you're going for that, it's like even then it's like, you know, a Latias could come in here, right? You could double out into like Bronzong to try to anticipate like a possible Lati in the back, for example, or like something else that can answer Kyogre really well, like a Palkia too, right? Like just things like that. And I think like staying in like in a lot of circumstances, I feel is hard to justify. And then I think the Wobbuffet was just kind of the worst case scenario that Indulgent Dreams got. And because of that, it's like, you know, this opened the doors to a Groudon sweep. And then from what I could tell, this Giratina Origin probably just didn't have Shadow Sneak. Because again, I don't see why you wouldn't Shadow Sneak there. Try to make the Groudon have less of a lifespan. And then, you know, see where the game goes from there, right? But even with the Quillfish, it's like Strange Name did have Rayquaza in the back as the last, because again, like what else would it be? So, you know, maybe Strange Name would have won still in the end, but I think it would have been a far more competitive game 3. Needless to say though, thank you for playing Indulge, fantastic run, and Strange Name is going to remain in this tournament. That being said though, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and consider donating to DPP Revival Ubers' prize pool, and I will see you guys next time.